Today we're going to look at how to make a PDF more accessible. The main educational use of PDFs is, of course, document sharing. But if you create a document that isn't accessible, then it's not as useful as it could be to your various audiences. I'm using a document I created in Word 2010. It has some headings, the section's divided into 2 columns. It's got a couple of pictures, some bullets, some links, but overall it's still a pretty simple document. One of the tricks that will make your life a lot easier is to use the tools in Word to help you pre-tag your PDF. For example, each of the headings in this document were created using styles. You can make the styles look however you want, but I just stuck with the Word 2010 defaults. The other thing we can do is give all of our pictures alternate text. To do that, you're going to right-click on the image and choose Format Picture. Then click on Alt Text at the bottom and you'll see 2 fields. The description box is the one that's important for us. We're going to type a description and click Close. So now that image is tagged. I'm going to leave the other image untagged so I can show you how to fix that later. Everything else should be ready to go, so I'm going to create the PDF. In Word, there are 3 ways to create PDFs, and 2 of them are good and 1 of them is bad. You can click on File, Print, and choose Adobe PDF as your printer, but this is not what you want to do. Instead, click on Save as PDF, or, even better, go to the Adobe tab and choose Create PDF. Both of these options bring the tags over, but the Create PDF button gives you a better organized file. So now we have our PDF. The first thing I'm going to do is run the accessibility checker. In Adobe Acrobat 11, you'll see the Tools button is on the right side, so click that and then click the Accessibility button at the bottom. The option you'll want first is the Full Check. It's going to bring up a dialog box, and for the sake of simplicity, you're going to leave everything as it is and just click Start Checking. It's going to tell you that there are some issues with the document. I'm going to click the plus button and see that I have 1 thing that failed and 2 things that require a manual check, the reading order and the color contrast. These 2 things will always be flagged because the software can't tell if the reading order of the document makes sense, and it can't tell if the colors are contrasty enough to be accessible. I can also see that my title failed, and I have at least 1 image that needs alt text. So some of these items can be fixed by right-clicking on them and choosing Fix. And if I do that with title, you can see that the title field here is actually blank. So I'm going to put a title in there, and even though it's not required by the accessibility standards, you want to make sure the author, the subject, and the keywords are also filled out. This helps accessibility, and this is metadata that the search engines use to find your document. Okay, so now the title is passed, so let's go to the next failure, which is the alt text. And if I open that up, I can see that Figure 1 needs some alt text. So if I click on Figure 1, it takes me to that part of the document where I can right-click and choose Fix Again. This will allow me to type in some descriptive text. I'm going to click Save and Close, and now my figure passes the accessibility check. So it looks like that's it, right? Well, we still need to check the color contrast and the reading order manually. Now Logan showed us how to check the color in a different video, so let's tackle the reading order. We're going to open up the Touch-Up Reading Order panel. This shows you how the sections of your document are tagged and ordered. Toward the bottom, there are a couple of radio buttons, Page Content Order and Structure Types, and the one we want for this is Page Content Order. When the document is reflowed, meaning it responds to the size of the screen, this order tells Acrobat how to display the text. So as mobile devices become more popular for looking at content, having the document reflow properly is going to make sure that the content is in an order that makes sense to your students. You can see it did a pretty good job at guessing how to organize our content, but one of the things is out of order. So if I click on Show Order Panel, it pulls up this tab, and I'm just going to close this so you can see it better. For my image, I want to make sure that it's read along with the text in the paragraph. So I'm going to drag the image, number 10, up in between number 2 and 3 and drop it. So that's not everything that makes a PDF accessible, but that should get you started. The main tip I want you to take away is that if your document is put together well to begin with, you'll have a lot less work to do later.